Hey everyone, and welcome to Cary's Garage. And on this episode, we're going to continue to look at cars of my past. This is episode 5 of Memory Lane. And before we get started, if I could just, ask for you to hit that subscribe button down below, hit the little bell so you can keep updated on my new videos. I always try and put out videos 2 to 3 times a week. It's kind of the goal. And by you guys subscribing, it helps build the channel. So, this episode is going to be kind of special. It's going to be a bit of a longer one, and we're going to cover one of the more unique vehicles that I had in my past. I even, going through my hard drive, this is towards the era that I actually have a lot more pictures. I even found some really terrible videos that I shot back in the day with a little digital camera that I have. So, it's really cool that we can be able to check that out. And we're only going to cover 2 cars. They were actually both from the estate sale of a guy who had passed away, and his nephew was helping sell the cars off. He actually lived out in, I think, California or whatnot. But slight of the backstory on the 2 vehicles was a member of the local Corvair club. He used to be the president, and his information was still on the local Corvair club website. And this gentleman had reached out to him. His name was Dave, the guy locally, and sent him a couple of pictures and said, "Hey, I've got these cars. I need to get rid of them. My uncle passed away." And Dave actually reached out to me because one of them was a 61 four-door, and he knew that I really liked those early models. So he just reached out to me, a couple of emails, and let me know about the cars. And I was definitely interested. So he put me in contact with the gentleman that was dealing with the estate, and that's pretty much how I came to find the vehicles. We talked back and forth over emails for a while. He didn't really know much about the vehicles other than they were both Corvairs, and sent me just a couple of pictures. And then what we did is ended up coordinating to go look at the cars and kind of make my decision. The first car, and I only got a couple of pictures of this that we're going to look at, is this one right here. It was a 1964 Corvair Monza 900 two-door. Um, it was pretty thrashed and torn up. The windshield was broken out. The interior was torn up. But mechanically, it was all there. It was actually a 4-speed car, which was kind of cool. Blue on blue, as you can see. But the interesting thing was the guy who had passed away, he actually bought this car brand new. He was the original owner. He bought it locally sometime mid-year 1964 in Albuquerque. And the interesting thing is, I even actually have the original title for the car. When I got it, doing the paperwork on it, the title was actually so old that the state wouldn't do anything with it, and it was kind of an interesting piece to have with the car. So I ended up actually keeping it all these years. But I had a lot of plans for this car because the body was fairly solid. Like I say, mechanically it was all there. I was gonna put a new windshield in it, strip the paint, clean it up, and just enjoy it. But kind of in the middle of this project, I ended up finding a different 64 Corvair two-door Monza that I ended up actually getting running and driving that one because that one was a little bit farther along. It didn't have so many problems that this 64 had. And that car we're going to cover in, I think, the next episode or the one after because it's right in the progression of me getting the cars. But the most interesting car of them is this one right here. We'll start off. I have so many pictures. I think I have like 60 pictures. So kind of hang in there. I've got a lot of really cool pictures and, like I said, a couple of videos. So this car was really interesting. I have no idea how the guy found it. I have no idea how he bought it. I would guess it was from an auction, which you'll kind of figure out why a little bit later. But from what I understand, the guy was a little nutty, and he actually locked the car away in his garage, and not just locked it away. He literally welded the garage door shut, so you couldn't even get to the car. It was actually very difficult to get to. And when the gentleman who was dealing with the estate ended up getting the car out, he cleaned it all up and just took the stuff off of it, brought it outside, and took a picture of it. And this is how he found it. This picture right here. Stuff was covered all over it. I think there was one door into the garage that you could barely get into. And then this is the picture of when he pulled it out. And then what he ended up doing is getting it towed over to a storage facility just so it was be protected while he kind of figured out what he was going to do about selling it and make sure nothing happened to it. And that's where we ended up seeing it. The car was a 1961 Corvair 500 four-door, so fairly base model, very, very few options. It did have a couple of things, but they were very weird, but we'll get into that. I'd coordinated with the gentleman to talk to the storage manager who let us in to go take a look at the car, and my best friend, who's in a couple of these pictures. We went to go check out the car on a weekend. Um, we took a look at it. You open up the door. Here's the couple of the pictures of when we first saw it when you open it up. It was a good looking car, 500 four-door, kind of an odd gray color. And we walked around it a whole bunch, looked at it fairly close, and it was really really nice. Opened up the door, looked at the odometer, 29,000 miles, and we kind of figured out that that was actually original to the car, so it had 29,000 original miles. The interior, dusty, dirty, but it was in really nice shape. It was all there. Um, I had noticed, as you can see in these pictures, there were some stickers on the dash. I didn't really think anything of them at the time, and just kind of looked over them. And then the interesting thing was I was standing behind the car. The light was kind of shining into the garage just right, and kind of looking down the passenger side, and I saw on the passenger door, there was a weird spot on it. Looked like something had been painted over or something on it. And then I got really close and kneeled down, and that's when I saw this. It was vinyl decals that had been painted over, and it said, "For official use only, U.S. Government Atomic Energy Commission." Both my friend and I were just amazed. We were like, wow, what's the story behind this car? Where did it come from? How in the world did we end up finding it? We looked closer at the stickers on the glove box and the dash, and that's what these pictures are right here. And they read, for, penalty for unauthorized usage, seatbelt usage, kind of government stuff. And they even had on the bottom AEC with a number on it, so they were actually government commissioned stickers that they put on the staff cars. As best we could ever figure out, we did a lot of research, never really found any definite history on the car. Chevrolet, their records of this era were destroyed in a fire a long time ago. The government agency, the AEC, they don't even exist anymore. No one was ever able to help me out. So best we were able to come up with is that it was probably a staff car driven from labs or test sites, or who knows. And it was slightly radioactive. Not bad. I mean, I have an old Geiger counter. I put it up to the car. It really didn't move. But if you set it in the car, it would slowly kind of creep up just a little bit. It's kind of saturation background stuff. So it wasn't that bad. But it was absolutely incredible. And as far as we could come up with, it was the only AEC staff Corvair in existence in the world. We never found anything like it. Um, we were pretty amazed. Honestly, it was pretty amazing. We looked a little bit closer at some stuff. If you look here at the VIN plate in the door, it had bid number on top of the VIN number. I would guess that was the contract Chevy won for the government. I'd never seen another VIN tag like that, so that was pretty unique. And even the data tag was kind of special. If you look on this picture, the paint code was SP-10, special paint blend 10, I guess, just the government grade they used. All in all, we were just so amazed by the car, and I had to have it. I absolutely had to have it. So I made the deal, bought the car. We towed it to my place, and here it is when we got it into my garage, and we started cleaning it up, and we were gonna work on getting it running. We pushed it outside, washed it really thoroughly. Here's those pictures of the first couple of days that we had the car. Got it all nice and clean. Get all the dust off of it. Vacuumed it really thoroughly. Went through it and whatnot. And we spent time getting it running. If you notice here in this picture of the engine compartment, there's a siren. I have no idea why it's there, who installed it. I don't know if it was AEC or the previous owner. It was definitely odd. I'd flick it on every once in a while. It was really loud, but it's kind of funny to have. We spent a lot of time getting the car roadworthy, and this is the pictures pretty much of the progress of that. I spent some time on the driver's door. I ended up taking the decals off, cleaning it up, and I ended up re-decaling it on the passenger door. I actually spent a lot of time with a dental tool, and I chipped off all the paint from the original vinyl. The interesting thing, if you looked at the certain light, you could see at the bottom part of the door where I think it said AEC, or Atomic Energy Commission, and they kind of sanded it over, painted it gray, and then put the vinyl decals on it, because that's when they standardized the for official use only government stickers on the door. Got new tires for it, painted out, buffed out the paint really nice, got it really shiny, and the car was really interesting. I really loved having it, but it really wasn't enjoyable to drive. It was cool to show people and talk about, but I was kind of terrified something would happen to it with the history and just how unique it was, and the low miles. So I only ended up driving it a few hundred miles the time I had the car, and it was just so unique. And here is two of the videos that I have from my terrible digital camera. One of the problems I always had with the car is one of the lifters never really pumped up. It would sometimes pump up and sometimes it wouldn't. So I kind of had a little of a lifter clatter. I tried to adjust it, and just you would have had to replace the lifters, which I never ended up getting into. I never really dug too deep into the engine other than rebuilding the carburetors, cleaning it up, oil change, doing a few little things. But it was so original. All of the original tar sealant was still on the tins. I mean, it was incredible how original this car was. So here's those two videos. Those are the stickers that say, AEC, approved contractors, and use of seatbelts required. Okay, here's starting the engine on the 1961 Corvair 500 Atomic Energy Commission car. Now we'll take it for a little drive around the neighborhood. Yes, it does have 30,000 original miles, so it creaks and it makes weird little noises, but everything is original on it, so, what can you expect? It shifts perfectly, the steering wheel is tight, and it's quite incredible, actually. Punch it, perfectly. And that's the Atomic Energy Commission Corvair taking it for a little ride around the neighborhood. So I hope you guys enjoyed those. They were definitely interesting. Kind of cool that I still have those. And like I said, the car was super special. It was amazing to have, but I ended up selling it to a collector down in Texas who had some really neat cars. He had a couple of Fitch Sprints. He might have had a Yanko. I don't really remember, but I lost track of the car years ago, so I have no idea whatever happened to it. If anyone out there knows, it's the only one. So if you've heard of the Atomic Energy Corvair, let me know. My email's down in the description, so go ahead and send me an email. But thanks so much for watching this special episode, checking out a really neat car that I used to have and I really enjoyed. And I'll catch you guys on the next video.